Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Boom Rookies with Grub, presented by ESPN. Coming at you live from the Grub Hub. My name is Matt Bungard. With me today, Josh Reynolds. Hello.
How are you, mate?
Mate, doing great. What a weekend of footy it was.
What a weekend of footy, but what a Friday.
Yeah.
That is just, wow.
It is rare that we can talk up two-game slate. That every person we talked to, every person that loves footy was so keen for Friday night last week, and it actually lived up to it. Both games, finals level quality. Both very physical, both very fast. Both could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic night for a game.
Just intent. That's the way I'll explain both those games. You know, you see a game on the Thursday night, no offense to the both teams, but the way that game started compared to the way the Friday night game started, it's just, you can see they're getting ready and primed. And all those teams, you know, have little things to prove. Little things that, you know, obviously the Bulldogs went down to Melbourne, didn't get it done. Melbourne still winning without Hughes. The Raiders are the one for me that, I've been a bit of a Raiders hater. I'm not going to, and I'll set it straight. It's not that I hate the team. It's just that I just feel the style they play sometimes. I just feel in the big games it couldn't come through, but didn't they prove me wrong on Friday night?
Fantastic. Yeah, I just love the different styles that all four of these teams have. We have the grinding machine that is the Panthers. We have the Dogs with their offloads and their yardage and the way they just love beating teams. We have the wild men of Canberra. Who knows what they're going to do? And then, of course, we've got the Storm, who might be the most complete team out of the four. Now, I'll ask you this. Do you think, after Friday night and just judging on a couple other games and just what we've seen over the course of the season, do you think anyone other than those four teams we saw on Friday night can win the premiership?
No. I just don't. Well, I would have said the Roosters before last week, but just a little too inconsistent. But, you know, it's funny. I seen Teddy talking yesterday about, you know, the cliche on our day, but you need more good days than bad days. And if you turn up like that in the semi-final, like they did against Para, it's
if you make happening. 22 errors in a semi-final, it's not going to be a good time.
You go on. And I think those Friday night games showed that all the good teams, the reason they were close, because they were close in all the small parts of the game. They were close in, you know, the kick pressures, all those little assets, the chase down, you know, the Harry Hayes getting chased in the corner.
What a play by
Critter competing right to the end. Strange with the Raiders, like just never giving up. Never, ever giving up. And it's for the Raiders, for me at the moment, that I look at them sometimes, I look at their try line attack, and I'm just like, they just can't, they don't really ever break a team open. They don't ever, you know, do something to someone to make them stop or whatever. It's more just they look at their whoever they're coming up against, their opposition, and they say, I'm beating you. One-on-one, I'll beat you. They're just tackle busters, aren't they?
Yeah. And Strange did that on both sides of the field for the Sasangi try and then for his own try. Pop it on both sides of the ruck. Having a guy with his dynamism and being able to having the freedom to go on both sides of the field as well.
Yeah.
He's been such a weapon for them in recent weeks. I think he's been absolutely outstanding in this run for them.
And I just think at this time of the year, they're young, they're confident, and they've got Jamal Fogarty there who is a real calming influence on them. I honestly think next year, you know, that there's going to be a bit of a drop just because he's leaving. And that's no knock on who's going to be coming in. I'm not too sure he'll be playing the 7 role, but he's just been absolutely amazing for them. He's in the prime of his career and a great pickup for Manly. And momentum is such a big thing this time of year. Momentum and who's healthy. You look at all those young guys from the Raiders, you know, unfortunately,
Savage
today.
But, you know, Tamale's coming back and Jed Stewart has been playing so well. That's the thing that for me with Canberra all year has been their depth is so strong. They've got Matty Nicholson working his way back from that injury as well. He played cup on the week.
He played cup? Yeah, there you go.
But I've asked a few Raiders people what they think's going to happen, and some are going, they might drop Morgan Smithies, but they might not get Nicholson back in the team at all. Because you look at the rest of their bench, and Mariotta's sort of like the third guy in the middle that's really beating people up behind Tarpanay and Papali. Now, you can't drop Sasangi with the cover he gives you in the back line, and you can't break up that Starling-Paddy tandem that they've got in dummy half as well. So there's just too many good players competing for spots at Canberra, which is a fantastic problem to have. They are really a team that doesn't have any sort of superstar signings in recent years. What they have done is just built a team, a superstar team.
And it is very scary what's going to be happening. Good for Canberra. Scary for the rest of the competition. When you look at all those young guys in Strange, Weeks, Paddy, they're going to be there for a long time. And you know what it's also going to do? It's going to entice guys who are in the mid of their career to actually go down to Canberra. Yeah. It's a tough place to get players to go to.
Yeah.
But you think if you're in the mid of your career, you know, and you've got a really good offer from a few good clubs, and then Canberra throw you an offer, and you're like, you know what? those young guys,
That's a great quarter.
They're hungry. They want to win, and it's somewhere where I'd want to go. So it's great for them. You look at the other side, Penrith, in control a lot of that game. And that's what I thought was going to happen in a big game in Canberra. Like, I just thought the big teams, wear them away set for set. But then I still don't think Penrith, after last year's grand final, there is no game that they don't think they can win.
Correct.
I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Like, that is unbelievable what they've done, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm
still not writing Penrith off. Interesting this week, though, isn't it?
Well, we're recording just for teamless, so we're not going to see them. But yeah, we were expecting a very changed team. I guess the only danger is I can see the logic behind doing it 2 weeks out, because they don't want to have the gap before the finals. I guess. But I guess the other side of it is you get a HIA in the second last week of the season. That guy can play in the finals. If you get one next week, 11-day stand down.
Yeah,
you lose a guy. That would be my only reason to want to maybe do it next week rather than this week. But I guess it's you're doomed if you do, doomed if you don't.
Exactly. And the thing is, as well, a couple of them have been battered this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Nate's had a long games. Isaiah Yo, shoulder. Brian Toto. They're just not the usual healthy Penrith we're used to over this.
Well, that's been the most impressive thing about them over the last 4 years, right? Is that they've basically been full strength every year when we get to this time of year.
Yeah.
And that in itself is just insane. And great credit to the conditioning staff at Penrith for the job that they do. But,
and don't you think it just goes to show you this week, it's a bit of a, I don't know what you'd call it, but is it arrogant that they're putting all these players out? Because because do they not care that they're not even going to maybe not get a home semi?
I guess that's a good point, because I hadn't considered the fact that they can go lower than 6. They hadn't actually thought about that aspect of it, which is true, because like if you think that the top 4 is going to stay the way it is now with the Warriors, Dogs, Storm, and Raiders, I guess maybe they're looking at the Broncos and the Sharks and going, they're like, the Broncos are going to get the Storm without Harry Grant in the last round of the season. The Sharks play the Knights, and then they might play a Dogs team who, if they win this week, might rest some players themselves next week. So maybe they're looking at the Broncos, Sharks, and going, they're probably not going to lose a game. Yeah, and so we're just going to have to make the best of this situation. The only thing I say is they've done this every year. They've rested players in late season games every year. Yeah, so we can't question.
Arrogance is the wrong word. It's more like they trust their system, don't they? They don't care. Yep, we're going to rest players this week, but we think we're a big chance against the Dogs. But it's just like they just know when it gets to that pointy end, they're going to be thereabouts.
Wouldn't a Broncos Panthers week 1 final be something? Elimination.
Yeah,
that's uncool.
Elimination. Huge. Where do you see Melbourne, mate? Like are Melbourne as good as short as, I don't know what they are in the betting?
They're too short, I think.
Yeah. You actually feel that?
I like they've been like under $3 all year in the comp. And I just think for a team to be that short in a field like this, where they're not even the team coming first at the moment, Canberra are, of course. Yeah. I think they've had a sensational year. Harry Grant, I know he's suspended now with that shoulder charge, but he was playing out of his mind these last few weeks. He's really put the team on his back since Hughes went down. Munster's had his best season in a little while. They got Pappenhausen back for this game. And, they've got guys like Katoa and Coates who are playing really great footy too. Like, they've got so many good... I just look at their middle forwards, and I know Liera's been really, really kicked on since Origin. He's been great as well. But I just... in this game, like, Canterbury killed them in yardage. They killed them in the battle between the red zones. Canterbury had like 500 more running meters in this game or something than the Storm did, and like 10 line breaks, something crazy. Like, Canterbury played. I thought Canterbury really outworked them and out physicaled them, and that's not something you see happen to the Storm very often. So that would just be my one point of contention with Melbourne. Like, I just don't know if I trust their forward pack as much as I trust the forward pack of the other 3 teams right now. But they're still great.
I just think, for me, that just their attack at the moment, and I know they've got some of their major players out, so I'm not writing them off or having a go on, but it's just not the Melbourne flow I'm used to of silky, just know exactly their identity and everything they're going to do. But I'll give them a bit of slack, because there is a few out. Wishart's playing halfback. Pappenhausen has been in and out, but their defense saves them, though. In big games, defensively, you know what Melbourne are doing. Then they've done it on the weekend, and we're going to see it in one of the clips. They are very aggressive on the edges. They're very jammy. They had to do that on the weekend, because they stopped a few big, tries that were coming down. Mate, 2012 grand final against us. Done the same thing. Benny Barber was untouchable that year. I don't know if you remember 3 of them bat downs. Bang, bang, bang. So in big games, they know They know where it's at, and it's up to teams like the Bulldogs to learn from that this week.
Sure.
You know,
I think the Bulldogs will come away from that game, despite losing, feeling pretty good about their performance.
Oh, I totally agree. I really do. And
if the ladder stays the way it is, that's going to be the week. That's going to be same game, same venue in week 1 of the finals between those two teams again. Run it back.
And as you said, everyone's going to say I've got my little Bulldogs hat on here, but I will say I'm still very confident. The one thing that I love what the Bulldogs doing early in the season was they were attacking with their defense.
Yep.
They were going after. They went after Melbourne, but I want them to keep doing that because they want tough games. I'm actually more confident. I know this might sound crazy. I'm more confident of the Bulldogs going to Melbourne, beating Melbourne, than the Bulldogs versus a Broncos team or someone like that. That's a bit more erratic. Yep. I like the Bulldogs like the set for set.
The Bulldogs are a great matchup for those sorts of teams. They're not a great matchup if you're playing a team like the Dolphins or the Broncos.
Yep.
And I don't think it's a coincidence. Those are the teams that had success against them earlier in the season in terms of putting big scores on them.
Yeah.
We've talked about the Roosters very briefly. What about the other three? Warriors, Broncos, Sharks. See anything, any case you can make for them. The Broncos, I think it's the injuries to Mam and Reynolds that are the main issue for them. For the Warriors, of course, it's Metcalf and Barnett not being there. But what about the Sharks? Because they're going to get into the finals. They're going to have basically everybody there, but they're just a team that I think we really wanted to see a little bit more from this year.
Definitely. I just don't. Once again, I think the Sharks have looked really good this year because of Breaks Braven. Fantastic. He's been their focal point of their attack in the last month. And which it's really opened up Nico Hines. So if Nico Hines can get into that sort of Dally M form that we've seen him before with a run-first mentality, I think Trindle has taken over as their natural halfback now. So if you've got, Brayley attacking the ruck, you've got those big guys. He uses the big bodies well. He gets them brings them onto the ball very, very well. Big bodies around the ruck. Trindle doing a lot of the kicking, so Nico Hines doesn't have to think about the game management, field stuff. And then you got Hines running out the back. I'm not gonna say the Sharks can win it. But look, can they get to maybe a game before the grand final or before that? I think so, but I can't say I'm winning it, mate. You?
No, look, I'd be happy for them, for their fans and for a lot of their players who I really like. But yeah, I think that those four, and I know the Panthers aren't in the top four, but I think those four teams that we spent most of this block talking about are the four that are the legitimate chances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, but again, it wouldn't be stunning if a team from outside that bracket. In other years, if a team outside like the ones that we've talked about came from nowhere to win, we'd be genuinely shocked. But this year, with the players Brisbane have, the players the Roosters have, the Warriors, if they can just get everything sorted for a few weeks and just they're the ones that's
probably the only team, honestly. But I don't mean to be rude to any Warriors. I love the Warriors are great, but they're the only ones that I just can't see. They're going to have to play Canberra in Canberra. Yeah. Which is a tough game. And then they're probably going to have to travel again to...
Well, they'll get a home game.
Sorry, they will get the home. Yeah. But they're going to have to play a good side.
I tend to agree. I think that I'd have them just a level below the Sharks, Broncos, and Roosters in terms of their probability of winning them. And then we've not talked about the Finns at all. I mean, they did concede 60 points on the weekend, but they might make the finals.
They could. They play the Titans this week.
Yeah. What's happened to their defense in the last 3 weeks? Why have they conceded, I think, 140 points in the last 3 games or something? What's happened? Is it just a wear and tear of a long season and all those guys are out?
All the guys out. And then there's 2 teams that we've given sympathy on this show for injuries. It's your mob and the Dolphins. Yep. Just because I know teams don't want to say it. We've said this before, but they've had a lot out, mate. And the guys that have been out are the ones that lead. They're the ones that lead that defensive mindset. The guys in the middle setting the platform for the likes of the Katoas, the Nicaramas to do their thing. But you need that first.
It's a shame because at their best, they're great to watch.
I think they can win a comp soon. I really do. It's quite incredible what they've done. We've spoken about this as well on the show that where they're at right now. Is it if they don't make the 8 again? Is it no? You as a franchise have been amazing. Yep. I really do. I really think they've got an identity really fast in the NRL and. You know what I hope, mate? We don't set a benchmark for our next 2 teams coming in to be like the Dolphins because it is very, very hard. Yeah. And it's going to be even harder to find the product.
Absolutely.
So, but no Dolphins for me, brother.
All right. And now it's time for our attacking play of the week. And Josh, this was the hardest week maybe ever to pick. There were some ridiculous try scores when we had the Jareem Buller one at Leichhardt. We had either of the Nwanga flick passes. We had the Dylan Walker kick for the Fox. But I think we have to go with maybe the most remarkable golden point try we've ever seen.
Can we call it the miracle?
Yeah, Mudgy Miracle.
It's the miracle, right and what a way to start the Friday nights, and could have all been ended. Nathan Cleary. The one big thing that I just want everyone to look at, the length of this pass from the dummy half, Kennedy is unbelievable.
He's done this a couple of times. That 2-pointer Cleary kicked a few weeks ago was a great pass.
And it's all what it's about, man. That pass. Like I'm telling you right now. So if we see it here, Nate has a crack and very, very unlucky. Hits the post. The Iceman. Good pressure from Canberra. You know, it's a great catch. His catch right now. And Ivan Cleary will be spewing at those two players.
They thought it was going to be a penalty.
They did straight away.
100%. And it's not because it bounced.
And this guy, speed, agility, pace, he's got it all. Strange is absolutely on fire. And KO Weeks to be backing up there at that moment of that game is just unbelievable. It just shows you how fit they are. This is in extra time. And we see it here, this catch. Bang, one of those players right there have got to make that tackle.
You see Martin throw his arms in the air in just a second as well because he thinks he can't hit him.
Because he's in the air.
Yep.
Oh, it's so close, but just the smartness of Strange. That left foot done damage to Nathan Cleary all. Backs himself. This is what I love about the Raiders. They just constantly back themselves. And Weeks is not even running. He's cruising.
He is so fast.
He's unbelievable. And that's what they've got. They've got absolute speed. And it just goes to show everyone out there, it is never over. It is never over. Nathan Cleary, nearly another huge moment in his career, but brilliant play from the Raiders out of their own half. You won't see many better than that, mate.
I don't know if we see it here, but I swear there's a couple of Panthers players that turn to start celebrating with Nathan because they think it's going through.
Yeah.
And who could blame them?
Absolutely.
One of the greatest to ever do it. But
the ice paint,
the coat of paint on the post.
It's quite unbelievable. And you honestly take your hat off to the Panthers, Canberra players because they were the opposite. They were waiting for the ball to come down. They were, as soon as it happened, they thought, go, attack. And that's why they scored this try. And you know what I love about this as well? The emotion of Ricky Stewart.
Yeah.
Oh, I've always thought
Kicks every ball with them, throws every pass on the sideline.
It's unreal. I've always thought as a player, I love my coaches having that emotion. Not everyone's the same. We're not all the same people, but just for how much it meant to him, it was quite unbelievable.
All right, now we've got not one, but two defensive players of the week. I mean, there was the Xavier Coates try saver in this game, Josh, but you want to break down some more sort of by design stuff that the Storm did to stifle that potent Bulldogs left edge on Friday night.
Yeah, and the only reason I want to have a look at these plays is because this has happened to me before in a game where the Melbourne Storm in big games, the up and in jamming defense, it is so hard because some teams will do this and they'll get it wrong and teams will go pass, score. But Melbourne Storm do it the best. And as you see here, it's a great wide pass from Bailey Hayward and Kurt Mann, bang. If we can just take it back a little bit, one play here, it is a huge decision here for Meany to land on this pass because Kurt Mann digs all the way into the line, which makes it which can cause a lot of trouble for this Bulldogs style of attack. But Nick Meany comes up and in, backs his defense. They would have looked at it all week. When Kurt Mann goes into the line, we have to come. Yep. We have to come, and it is so hard to do that in a pressure moment. And Melbourne done it a couple of times that night.
Yeah, just a great play. And then the little scuffle afterwards.
Yeah, it was what did we get? We got a little bit of a the ball throw. But that's what happens, like you come up with a big play like that, it's huge. In where the game was at, and Meany would know. They wouldn't have done that play a million times all week. And they know when Burton gets out the back, we're jamming. So
there's certain players, like Kurt Mann he mentioned there's certain players that you'll get briefed on during the week going, when he digs into the line, that's when we've got to come up.
Well, it's a read for the center.
Yeah,
it is a read. It's however he feels. But I just know Melbourne have that aggressive mindset. They really do. Meany would have been watching the ball. The defensive systems, the best ones in the game, it's all about watching the ball. Cam Stroud will be laughing at this watching this because he used to be like, how the hell did I used to defend the grand final? But it's in the NRL. But it's so true because he would have been watching the ball the whole time, seeing Kurt Mann go into the line with a nice lead line, but still comes up with a huge play, and they've done it all night.
Yep. All right, now we're going to look at a second play later in the game. Reid Marnie on the field for Canterbury, wreaking havoc. They go with a similar shape, just a couple of tackles before this one. Then they got the back here to kick out, and the Storm are ready once again.
Yeah, and it's a great work from Reedy here if we play it through, because his deception from dummy half makes his play. And if you go through here, Sammy Hughes, bang. So stop it right here. Right here, Katoa is meant to be on Matty Burton. For me as a half, the attacking half, my job is to get to their three men. So that's easy. Katoa's not getting to Matty Burton, no way. So the Bulldogs have the numbers straight away. And some defensive systems, who's at the back of this play? Do you remember who's at the back of this play?
Kick out.
How hard? Okay, how many kilos would kick out be?
110.
And how many kilos would Anderson be?
90.
Scary tackle. Very, very scary tackle. But if we played here, Matty Burton digs all the way into the line. Anderson holds his ground and he spooks kick out. And that itself, it is just such a big play. It might not look big. He didn't actually come in and jam you, but for him to hold, the lead line on Meany was unbelievable. And this is why the Melbourne Storm are so good at what they do. They stick to their systems. They stick to their principles. We see it. Great lead line. Meany's gone. Meany's gone for all money. Kick out all year has done that nice, slick pass for a try in the corner. So Melbourne, big games, stick to their principles and processes and come up with big defensive reads like that.
Yeah, that felt like a finals game, didn't it?
It was awesome.
It was great.
It was
great intensity. All right, let's move on to talk about Josh Hannah. You had a lot to do with Des Hasler, of course, over your career, but that era is over for the Titans, and Hannah is coming in as the new coach. What do you know about Josh Hannah as a coach or as a player, and how's he going to go?
Yeah, first things first, I feel a bit sad for Des.
Of course.
Obviously, like you said, I've had a lot to do with Des. He had a big impact on my career, and I do not understand how players, didn't get up for him because, I think one thing with Des is you were over-informed. You knew everything about every other player, which is a good thing. He knew how to get us up for games. It was, but this is it. The Gold Coast Titans, isn't it? Like, you can't just keep getting rid of coaches.
They've gone through a lot.
They've gone for a lot of coaches. Like, surely someone has got to, accountability in rugby league teams is a big thing. And it's got to start. I honestly think it's got to start from the top because, well, it's just gone coach after coach. Justin Holbrook, good coach, won in the Super League. Des Hasler, winner in the NRL, and they've had Neil Henry. That's some good coaches. It's something about the system up there at the Gold Coast Titans, and I've heard people say things like, "Oh, it's such an easy lifestyle up there," and well, yeah, that should make your life easier. Don't you reckon?
Yeah. Well, no, I think the problem is just the sheer lack of. You've talked about how you liked media pressure a lot of times because you felt accountable.
Accountable, yeah.
I do think that just actually, I don't know. As someone who worked in the media for years, like the Gold Coast are, I would say, by a fair whack, the least covered team or the team that people not care about, but people read about the least. Like they would, especially when they're in a state with the Broncos and now the Dolphins taking all the media attention off them, and then like no one in Sydney cares what the Titans are doing. Like, it is a very different. I can imagine it would be a very different environment for a player than pretty much any other club, just because you have you've got other one-team towns, right? But Canberra lives and breathes for the Raiders, the Warriors, of course. They've got a whole nation behind them. The Broncos, even the Storm. Obviously, AFL is king down there, but the Storm is still a pretty well-attended club. They're towards the top in attendances. People care about the Storm down there now far more than they used to. But I feel like the Titans are just kind of in their own little world there, where they just kind of exist. Yeah,
and I heard someone say a good point. Like every time someone signs at the Gold Coast, they always say, "Oh, yep, it's a great lifestyle. Can't wait." But you'd love someone to say, "No, I'm coming here to train hard and win." And like lifestyle's good because you can get away from footy and you can go down the beach and love it and sun and it's awesome. But at the same time, you're there you're paid to win games. You're paid to, turn up for, the emblem you're wearing. Yeah. And I just think with the Titans, they've got to make a big call. They have to make a big call. Oh, what would you do?
With Kinney and Brimson?
Well, you've got Brimson, Kinney and Campbell.
Yeah.
All similar players.
Campbell's got to stay at 6, I think, or 7. He's got to be in the halves.
I just don't think he's a 7.
Okay.
I think they got to shed one of them.
Okay. Yeah, I think I tend to agree. I think Kinney and Brimson are both best at fullback, and I think Campbell's got to be one of your halves going forward. They've got to build the club around Jaden Campbell. I think he's so talented.
They need a 7. They need an out-and-out 7 that is going to free up these guys. So they're all great ball runners. They're all fullbacks. They're all unbelievable. But, there's...
Maybe should have kept Jamal Fogarty, is what you said.
Fogarty, or, there was Toby Sexton that was on the market. A guy who I think, and I seen him play live on the weekend, and I think there's going to be some clubs after him is Jonah Peasant. Yeah, I really do. I think he's the next halfback that's, someone like the Titans might have to go after. But then also, they've got front rowers: Fodawaker, Campbell Gillard, Tino. They've got some players on.
Bo Firma has been one of the bright spots for them. He's been out as
I wouldn't be getting rid of him
this year. He's awesome.
But you got to make a big call out of them.
But apart from him, that's
for Feeder.
Out of your 5 starting forward, it seems like from the vibes we're getting that Fafita's probably leaving the club. But those 4 that you mentioned,
you still get rid of one, I reckon.
You reckon?
Well, they're all on big money. Like
Yeah,
Campbell
it's true.
Gillard's on 700-800. Fodawaker would be asking for some cash. He's played Origin, and Tino's Tino.
He's got his 9-year deal.
I heard someone say, "Would you just get rid of Tino for something different?"
Yeah, what would you do? I wouldn't. Tino's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't. But I'm just saying, like, I understand. Like, they just had a very similar team for a long
That's
time,
true,
and I
actually.
just
It's a very
feel,
good point.
you know, the Brian Kellys of the world, the Philip Samis, the Brimsons, like something needs to be shaken up. You know, and maybe they're all just a little bit too comfortable. But look, Hannay, I've heard all great reports.
Okay.
I've heard, you know, you hear Fitzgibbon saying he's ready. Fitzgibbon is actually, you can see he's actually quite sad he's leaving because he seems to be, you know, they're really close, and you know, you see a lot of assistant coaches and the coaches really tight these days. The one thing that I love about this is he's a Queenslander coaching a Queensland team, and I think this helps. You know how Queenslanders are;
They are.
They all stick together.
Yep.
That's the one thing where, you know, I look sometimes at New South Wales and Queensland, and sometimes we always want to pick apart our team. Queenslanders, whoever they pick, they stick together.
Yeah, well, mate. I met some when I went to the cricket earlier this year in England. We ran into the boys sitting in front of us were all Queenslanders, all Broncos fans, and it was so strange to me that they were all like, "Oh yeah, in the finals of the Broncos, I know, and we go for all the other Queensland teams."
Yeah,
I can't imagine me sitting there being like, "Oh yeah, I go for the Roosters
or
when Southside and
Sin."
Yeah,
but they all like that, and that's the effect I think he's going to have on this team. He's played for the Cowboys, played for Queensland. I really hope, you know, the Titans find who they are. They have to bring some young guys through in that catchment that you've got up there that want to play for the Gold Coast Titans and want to represent them, not just because it's a lovely place to live. Want to win a comp, want to, you know, find some guys that will do anything for that jersey.
Yeah,
you got to find them. You really do.
You got to get some fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So good luck, Josh Hannay. It's going to be a tough job. There's been many out there that have tried and haven't been able to do it. But yeah, I think if he can get the players on side, they'll be right. All
right. What's up? Things got very heated in the Des Hasler press conference that we saw on Saturday. What is the strangest or worst question that you've ever been asked?
Oh man, there's just so many. There was a list of 1,000 I had in my head. And no, but
I'm not on the list.
You weren't. Now, did I? I haven't told the story about. Have I ever told you the G up about people journalists thinking that I was going to play for Lebanon? No. Anyway, so this isn't the worst question, but it was a funny one when Robbie Farah started this G up when I was at the Tigers that I was at Lebanese background. And look, it made sense. Grew up in Belmore.
You pick up the mannerisms of the people around you. And we're from Bankstown, so you can.
Heaps of my mates are. Heaps of my mates are Lebanese. So, it rolled on for a few days. And man, I was even getting named at number 6 in possible Lebanese seeded teams.
Moses Reynolds.
Yeah, it was. So I felt a bit sorry for the bloke because he's at least read the story or seen the team, and he's going, "Oh, I've got a big question here," and he's like, "Mate, Josh, if you do represent Lebanon in the World Cup, and you know, are you going to be proud to represent your village? And what village are you actually from?"
Oh my God!
And I felt really bad because
you could have kept going with it.
The G up went way too far, and I sort of said, I don't know, and I threw off. But then I had a word to my manager at the time. He's like, "Mate, you got to tell people that you're actually not, because you can't just keep this going on." But funny G up at the time, I thought it was hilarious.
Were you eligible for any sort of, like, I love that David Nofaluma played for Serbia. I love that Harry Syker played for Poland, stuff like that. Are you eligible for any of those sort of smaller nations?
No.
Like England and Ireland.
Yeah, I always say that to my parents. I'm like, something. Yeah. You know, like, it's fun. I thought that was a pretty fun G up. But I used to love you know, when journalists would say to me things like, "So, you know, there's Tigers supporters saying that you're stealing a wage. How would you like to answer that question?" And I'm like,
you just pull a wad of cash out and start fanning yourself with it. I don't know what they're talking about.
What are you on about? No, but then I'd be like, well, I didn't know people were saying that. Yep. Thanks anyway. You know, it's hilarious. But if there is a guy that can really manipulate the media and answer their questions with a question, it was Des Hasler.
Yeah, one of the first games they ever covered was Dogs Manly at Brookvale. They got smashed. They didn't. I think it was they got completely. It was very tense in the press conference afterwards. I was almost too scared to ask a question.
Who was your who are you? Who'd you go into a room and you're nervous to ask a question?
Des, for sure. Ricky, if the Raiders lost. Yeah, they're the big ones. Like I never because I'd never really gone to Storm. I only get a couple of Bellamy games, so because I never really go to Melbourne for the games. But like Des and Ricky for sure. There was the I think they're the big two. But it's a lot of fun. Like, you just got to be respectful and try to ask the best questions you can.
Mate.
Not end up with Josh Reynolds talking about how dumb you are on a podcast several years later. That's all you can. That's the best you can hope.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine we had an altercation
and
then we
possible.
No, but like that.
Yeah. But that's a great one. You how far did you consider just going with it?
I went with it for a
but like
day or so.
Could you have got to the point where like you're literally arm in arm with Mitch Moses and Robbie Farah for the Lebanese national anthem and going, maybe I've taken the joke too?
Well, I'm 90% sure it was on Fox Sports. It's like
how rigorous is the checking process?
Yeah, well, obviously not at all. So, but look, would have loved to have represented them. All my Lebanese brothers out there. Wondered they would have. I think they would have taken me. All the Bulldog used to shorter, and you grew up in Belmore, so yeah. So it's but no,
that's great.
I had to stop it at a stage.
That's so funny. That's so good. Terrific stuff. All right, we got some listener questions. Jeff from Cessnock wants to know, what was your top try of the week? And was it the one we just broke down, or was it one of the many, many other sick tries we saw this weekend?
I'll go the Tigers flick, just because.
Just 05 jerseys.
It wasn't it amazing?
It's great.
And to hear the commentary of it, like, I advise it. Like, it was awesome, and that is what I think everyone wants to see of the NRL and the Tigers, and because, wow.
What are you going with for try this? I'm still going with that. No, I'm going to do RSA when it's the Dogs. That's
easy.
The most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
I'm going to that's up there with an ever for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's different to all the ones.
That's right. It's so different.
Where you think of the best try. I feel. Is that a word? I feel that a lot of them is all the aerial stuff and how they put the ball down.
Yeah.
Amazing. But what he done is like, no.
That's not allowed.
It shouldn't happen on a footy field. Maybe a soccer field.
Maybe.
Something.
Ridiculous.
So but that Tigers try.
That was awesome.
The feeling that, Buller scored it in the end.
Yep.
The feeling he would have had to finish that try off.
With the hill behind it.
Oh, man.
Roaring.
Come on. That's what rugby league's.
It was all going so well for the Tigers at 28-16 with 15 minutes left.
Shouldn't lose from there.
I was there, mate. I was there with a few of my mates, and one of them, big Tigers man, said, we're going to score 50. when Naden scored.
It was, I felt that.
And I turned around and said, yeah, mate, the floodgates are open.
I was doing
boys are home.
Oh,
mate, it was the claw. The claw was out.
Claw was out. What is the claw?
I don't know where it started. Some of my mates love it. This the I don't know where it comes from, but
must be one of their little in-house sort of things.
Maybe I don't know.
Is it a tiger or?
I don't know if it started with the West Tigers or if they've co-opted it from like a team from overseas or something. But I think it's hilarious.
No one else does that. They can. You're pretty sporty.
Yeah, but there might be
the Bengals.
Oh God, that would annoy me.
Burrow, imagine Burrow throws a
dime. The Ravens in the playoffs and throws a Clyde. just turn the TV.
You shouldn't be putting that out in the atmosphere.
Right. I've made my peace with it. We're going to go 17-0 and then lose in the divisional round.
Oh man, I would not be saying that about my team. But anyway. Everyone's different.
Your team won the Super Bowl, mate. My team keeps
and we'll win it again, back to back.
Michael from Lugano. Scores are locked with 40 seconds remaining and you're receiving the ball from the kickoff and working towards a field goal. On the field, what is the communication like? Is the hooker keeping an eye on the clock? Are players counting down to their heads rather than looking at the scoreboard? Is it just based on a feel thing when you're caught up in the chaos?
Wow, that is a pretty in-depth question, but a good question because, there's a lot going on in your head and there's a decision that you got to make as a half. Did you say kickoffs? 40 seconds remaining, you receive. Yeah, because you might not get in the spot to take the kick.
That's true.
So you've either got to, you've got to try and get your forwards to a spot, and that's hard enough in itself because, you do it all at training and it's all perfect, and you slot it over, and you're like, I used to do that, but that's at training. But like, it's so easy because you get to that point, you get to left post. I want it at the left post to have my right foot kick, but. It doesn't happen like that in the game. Sometimes what will happen is a lot of the time, because it's also tense and there's all big good contact. So someone might get tipped off a spot and then that could change it. But yeah, it's the communication between the spine, and you all have a chat. You all got little cues, and the Billy Slater, Cronk, Smith, they used to be the best at it. They'd get the group and you'd see what they were doing, before it or whatever. But you sort of you're hoping you can get into the spot for the shot, but then there's a decision that you got to make at a time. I've got to put it in the corner and then wait for them to, possibly come up with the error, but it might not happen. That's the thing, Not all of us have got bombs like Nathan Cleary. He just hits them from ridiculous spots. I did have a very, very good one in a partner in mine in Trent Hodkinson.
Oh yeah,
I was sort of the decoy for Hocko a lot of the time. Like I slotted a few, but he He was unbelievable. He was good, but yeah, it's all about communication. You do watch the clock, but then it's, there gets to a time where you're like, all right, well, maybe we take this into extra time and maybe I kick it to the corner. And I used to love to switch.
Yeah.
The switch. Pass to someone, switch back, get a nice kick. But the kick pressures these days, they're coming hard. Honestly, people should understand how hard it is to kick field goals in a tough game when you've been going for 80 minutes and the pressure's on. Just give these guys, give these halfbacks a lot of credit. It is tough to do it, but yeah, it is chaos. The last word he said, it is chaos, and it's the calmest ones that I feel I'll do it the most.
I'll never forget. South played Manly in, I think, 2010. Hoggo just signed for the Dogs. We hadn't gone there yet. And he kicked 2 field goals in the last 3 minutes in a 1-point win.
Brookie?
Clutch, yeah.
I remember. You were there.
No, I wasn't.
I was going to say.
At a 21st, thankfully. So got to just go and drown my sorrows immediately.
On the cans.
Yeah.
Nice. What were we doing?
I don't even. Do you remember Pulse?
I don't even. Let's not talk about that.
It's a miracle my heart still works. The amount of pulses I used to drink. But you got some pushback for the can thing last week, by the way. A lot of people very pro can. When you saying no beer can.
Yeah.
I will say a wrinkle we didn't think of with that is like we're at the Orange Grove before on the weekend, right? And I think back to like when I was at Anzac Day at Public House, whatever. Can bars are very good when bars are very, very busy. It does speed everything up.
Yep, they're faster. Just dish them out, but still I'm a fan.
No, totally fair. You got to stick to your guns. All right, James from Gaimea, why did you leave the field before halftime against the Titans?
This guy's a serial pest, and it's sick of him talking about me on his podcast as well. But I think we all know the story, James. A couple of Josh Jackson's finest moment. That's what he always says. Playing with me, it was nice of him to say this, but it was. Yeah, do you know he's recalling?
I do.
Yeah.
Would you like to continue?
Well, I don't know what you'd call it, but realistically, if everyone watches the tape, watch it properly, my foot is into touch. So, flag should be up halftime. But obviously, Josh Reynolds had lots of brain fades over his career.
The funniest player of all time.
And people say, what were you doing? I'm not sure. I was being a smartass, as I usually am. I passed the ball into, might have been Zillman or something like that, and the ref's gone, no. You can't do that, mate. That is a forward pass. And so I've ran into the shed thinking, half time's on, and Jimmy Dimmick, one of the greats, he's like, that's exactly what he said on his podcast, but
it's family show.
Like, get back out there. And I'm like, what? I look around and the boys are still running, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
I didn't know the second part. Obviously, I remember the play. I didn't realize that there was like, a 30-second gap between you doing that and realizing that the game was still going.
I was halfway in the shot.
Oh, my God, that's so good. I didn't know that part.
Then I'm run back out, storm across the field. And, mate, I promise you, I feel I'm very close with a lot of my teammates. I love the camaraderie. But on that day, I promise you, the looks I was getting from a few of the boys, they wanted bad things to happen to me. And so I walk in the shed and you're on edge.
Yep.
Because I'm like,
no kidding.
I don't know where this is going.
Yeah.
And the great Des Hasler walks over with his hair and he says, once again, can't say exactly what he said, but he's like, I'll deal with you later.
Oh, no.
And that's all I got.
How'd you play in the second half?
I was too nervous to do anything. I honestly didn't even know what I was going to do, or, man, I was just worried. I knew.
That's like a teacher saying, I'll speak to you after class, and you got to spend the rest of the lesson wondering what's going to happen.
Mate, it was... We speak about it a lot. And people ask me why.
It's good, clean fun. It was one of the funniest plays in rugby league.
It was one of the dumbest plays.
It can be two things.
Yeah, but mate, it was good for the for the lol.
For sure. And Josh from Dubbo wants to know, which current player reminds you of yourself the most?
Well, I actually didn't want to do anyone dirty on this because I don't want anyone to think, I'm way better than that guy.
Oh, come on.
But you know what? I actually went into the Bulldogs office today.
Yep.
And I said to him, because I don't know, I didn't.
It's hard. That's actually a question that's easier for someone other than you to answer.
Correct. So I walked into the Bulldogs office today, and I asked one of my beautiful staff members, who do you think reminds you of a player now? And she goes, who's the biggest pest at the moment? I said, literally, that was the exact words. So it was Reed Marnie.
Yep, makes sense. down to the
Is that who I feel? Is that who you were going to say?
No, I wouldn't have said in terms of playing style, but like,
yeah,
she's going with
who would you say playing style? Because I couldn't think of any.
It's a hard one. Like, just like the 5'8" position has changed a little bit in the last few years. I do think that I think like you've got the sort of the Ethan Strange is a lot like I think he's got a bit more speed than you. No disrespect, but I think there's a similar play style there in the way that you're always looking to beat your man 1-on-1. Yeah. You're always looking for the matchups. A lot of it is played up here, not just with the athleticism as well. And he is a great athlete, but
I'll take that.
But like,
sorry, Ethan, mate.
Yeah. No,
he's not good for him.
No. I don't know if you had the speed. You would have the speed to burn the whole Panthers team down the sideline on point last week.
I actually burnt Damien Cook once.
Oof, that's it. There you go.
Sorry about that, Cookie.
So it's all right.
In the wet though, I'm a wet track.
He only likes the sand.
It was a heavy 10.
Yeah,
it was a heavy 10.
Yeah.
At Core Stadium, nice little trap and scrap. I think I went. It was 50, but we'll say 80.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that was I did. I liked it. It was actually Georgia Radix. You know, he played for the Sharkies. Yeah. She works for the Bulldogs.
Oh, right.
Weird combo, that one. And yeah, I wasn't really happy with it, Georgia. So thanks for that. There you go. He
working for one club, playing for another. Interesting.
Tough. I'm into her all the time.
Yeah.
Who are you
really?
Yeah. And
whose side are you on?
Yeah. We just make sure we don't say everything around her. You know.
Yeah,
no. She's a great player.
Really
great person too, mate. It was funny when she just said, "Who's the biggest pest?"
Yeah.
I like that.
Been great for the Sharks this year.
Awesome.
And right, we're going to talk about our grub of the week. So Harry Grant's going to risk the remainder of the regular season for that shoulder charge. What did you think?
Oh, it was shoulder charge.
Yep.
But very unlike Harry Grant.
Yeah, so out of character.
So out of character. But yep, I think he definitely, unfortunately, got what he deserved, Harry. But do you remember when shoulder charges were? Do you remember our team when we had Frank Pitchard, Cassiano, Eastwood, everyone shoulder charging? We used to live off it.
I was there, South Dragons, the night GI shoulder charged Dean Young.
So that's nasty.
That was. I'm not trying. This is not me trying to be funny. We legitimately were like, he might be dead. We were legitimately worried in the grandstand because that noise. Because there was like 8,000 people.
That's
there,
right.
South Dragons, or like a cold Monday or Thursday. I can't remember what night of the week it was. No one was there, and the sound that reverberated around that stadium after that contact. Was crazy.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Shocking.
Can't do them.
Yeah,
but like it's an awkward one sometimes because Harry Grant, he's small. He's not the biggest hooker, and like sometimes positionally, you know, he got his shoulder, he got his body in the wrong position there. So for him not to get, you know, pushed backwards, he sort of had to go in and, you know, he didn't wrap the arm. But mate, when they were on, I could not tell you how excited I used to get when Cassiano would go bang, Pritchard would go bang, and then, you know, you got this little number 6, 60 kilos ringing wet, thinking I can do it to people and just getting absolutely smashed off. But yeah, look, I was looking for another grub of the week because I don't think it's a grub moment, but that was
worth talking about.
Worth chat.
The regular
yeah, well, it's huge. Well, so I'm assuming
Roosters and Broncos.
Bronson Garlick will fill in because he's been been very handy for the Storm, and he's
coming South next year.
Great signing for South. He honestly, mate, and I just think where he's at in his career right now, he can actually have a big impact. I think he's ready to be, you know, a starter somewhere, and it's so hard to, you know, find a place in Melbourne for anyone because they've got so many good players. But yeah, very good friend of mine, and I'm very excited for. You should be very excited, South fans, because he's a goer. He goes hard. He can play multiple positions, and he's going to be a massive asset for the Storm heading into this last 2 games.
Yep. I wrote down my thing that I was looking forward to this weekend before Penrith announced they were resting their entire team. So I had put down Dogs Panthers on Thursday. I'm going out there with a few mates. Was really looking forward to this. Wanted to see the Dogs test their mettle against another premiership contender and maybe get a win, lock up a top 4 spot, all that stuff.
Yep.
But instead, it seems like they probably still will. But now it's a completely different vibe, isn't it? Because we've gone from this is going to be this is like a potential prelim later in the season, 2 teams going at it, to if we don't win this game, we're going to look very foolish.
The Dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, you know, Penrith are still going to show up.
They will.
That's the crazy thing, you know. We'll see it very, very soon how many will actually be out. But look, no matter what Penrith side you play, this is the one thing about Penrith through all their system. They're all doing the same thing. So you're going to get a Penrith side that tries to grind you, whether it's, you know, half the New South Wales Cup team or even more, or they blood some new players. They're going to be keen. They're going to be young. They're going to be hungry, and the Dogs are going to have to still show up on Thursday night and put in a good performance. And don't get me, I know for a fact that they all want to bounce back after a tough loss down in Melbourne on Friday night.
Crowd, I'd expect a reasonably big crowd out there.
The Doggy supporters always show up, mate. They always do. Thursday night, amazing atmosphere. For me, mate, I'm actually looking for big return game for Sandon Smith if he gets selected.
Massive.
Walker's out with concussion. I honestly think it's been a fairly tough year for him. When I say tough year, he's played good footy when he's played, but he's just been the third guy.
Yeah.
And it's tough for young guys because, some of them can kick stones, and I'm not exactly sure how he's gone in New South Wales Cup, but it's a big game for his future, how he bounces back. Some coaches, not everyone looks at how good you play in all the big games, everything's going well. It's when times are tough, do you mope or do you bounce back and do your job? So big game for the young guy's future with a few clubs circling for him. So I'm actually keen to see how he goes.
Yeah, for sure. That's a big, like the Roosters, I thought were going to cruise into the finals a couple of weeks ago, but now no Sammy Walker, losing that game last week. And the Finns have been pretty awful defensively in the last few weeks, but they've got, as you said, they've got the Titans this weekend, and they win that, and the Roosters lose, they're back into 8th. Incredibly.
Wow.
Yeah.
You play
last
Roosters?
game, South Roosters, which...
Wouldn't you just love to? Okay.
It'd be a real shame if they missed the finals.
Yeah.
It would be a real shame for all the Roosters fans.
And Alex got his...
It would be... I would hate for Alex Johnson's record try to come at the expense of the Roosters missing the final. I think that would be just such a shame for them as a football club.
Is it hate? Do you hate them?
I don't think I think it's more... I think both with the Dogs and the Roosters, like it's like I respect the rivalry. Like it would be boring if they weren't there. Like it would be boring to play anyone else. Like Dogs and Roosters games every year are my favorite games to look forward to. Like the Dogs one is more for me personally. Yeah. I grew up in Bankside, not a Bulldogs fan. It's hard,
tough for you.
But those I circle those 4 games on the calendar.
Do you ever worry for your safety?
Nah, it's fine.
It bakes down.
I'm not an idiot. I didn't go to the pub with my mates in Revesby on Friday and watch the game, in a South jersey or anything. Like I cheered. I was there, getting excited when the Bulldogs scored and stuff with my doggy supporting mates. So
Good Friday game. You've been to a few.
The 2015 one, I was legitimately worried for my safety.
Bad Friday for us. But no, but this, I love NRL rivalries. It's what it's all about. Yeah, for the fans, and some fans. The funny thing is, there'll be kids at the ground that don't even know why it's a rivalry.
No.
You know what I mean? But that's what it's all about.
That was an interesting thing. It's because it's like the Dogs, they had that little rebuilding phase. Like kids today, they don't realize how big those Dogs Roosters games were in the early 2000s. That was genuine hatred between those two teams.
Great teams.
Yeah. The comp is better when Dogs, Roosters, and Souths are all going at each other's throats.
Absolutely.
I think so. All right, we'll see what happens in round 27. Can't wait.
Good luck.
Thank you. we can't lose this week. Bye. That's 8 points in 4 weeks. Look at us.
Wow, you are actually flying.
Yeah, fine. Doing all right. Don't worry about it. Ashton Ward, he's the future.
He is the future.
Mate, he looked great. He looked great last Thursday.
I just need him to go to the gym. I think someone said not go to the gym. I'm G'ing up, mate. I love what you've been doing, but it's just he looked. So I think Michael Ennis or someone said in the commentary that he would actually be small in the schoolboys competition with all the kids he's coming up against. But mate, I just love that. Like you look at him and mate, he's playing NRL at the elite of the elite of rugby league and still doing a great job. He's been on our defensive player of the week once and
threw a great. They'll fake there's a line break on the right hand side last Thursday. Really nice.
Ran the ball a lot.
He did,
and I love that. Love a young half who takes the line.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. They're going all right, and they can't hurt me this weekend. That's what you going out on Thursday night?
I am. Excellent. I'll be there. Yeah. Very, very, very excited to see how the Dogs bounce back.
I think they'll do it.
They'll
get it done.
Yep.
All right, let's get the hell out of here. Say goodbye, Josh.
See you guys.
That's goodbye from me.